Good evening, everyone. For those participants with different time zones, good morning, good afternoon. So we have a webinar today that will tackle on the embedded GUI with Artithread and Squareline Studio on RA6 M3 HMI board. So this this webinar is hosted and organized by Artithread IoT OS. So before we proceed, let me introduce myself. Are we on record? Okay, so let me introduce myself. I am Rose Alce from the Philippines, a faculty from the Computer Applications Department, College of Computer Studies at Mindanao State University, Iligan Institute of Technology. At the same time, I am a researcher and I'm currently involved in researches that tackles on climate smart agriculture and smart campus. So most of the researches that I am involved with are dealing with microcontrollers, wide area network, WSN, embedded and IoT systems, automation, and monitoring. Okay. So what are the contents of this webinar? We had the overview, embedded GUI with RA6 M3 HMI board about Artithread and Squareline Studio, embedded GUI for water level monitoring. So as I mentioned earlier, this webinar is organized by Artithread. So what is Artithread? Artithread was born in 2006, which is an open source, neutral, and community-based real-time operating system, or RTOS. The software has characteristics of very low resource occupancy, high reliability, high scalability, and can be greatly used in sensing nodes, wireless connection chips, and many resource-constrained scenes. It is also widely applied in a gateway, IPC, smart speakers, and many other high-performance applications. So some of these applications are the following. Actually, I have your students from the computer applications. I think you can somewhat relate to the topic. So some of these applications, microelectronics printer, wireless camera, storyteller machine, headphones, smart bikes, power bank, LoRa gateway, brainwave test machine, and many more. So the open source Artithread platform includes the following. It has the Artithread Nano, which has a small footprint. We have the Artithread IoT OS and the Artithread Smart. We also have the IDE and toolchain for Artithread. One of the tools that I am using for this presentation is the Artithread Studio, but we also have the following IDE, like the MDK, the IAR, the C-Lion, the VS Code, and then the STM32Cube IDE. We also have toolchain, such as GCC, ARM-CC, ARM, CLANG, and then the ICC ARM. And for the auxiliary tool, we have the ENV. So overview, the presentation or the my input, my entry later is my input to the 2023 Embedded GUI Contest, the Water Level Monitoring GUI. This is an event organized in collaboration with collaborating teams of Artithread, Renaissance, and LVGL. So the competition is about developing innovative and intuitive graphical user interfaces, or GUI, for embedded system. So we have entry for this contest, and luckily, okay, and luckily, our entry is one of the approved entry for this contest, and I have the opportunity to explore the HMI or the RA6 M3 HMI board, which is given by the RT-Thread. And then I had the opportunity to explore it. And soon, I'll be able to integrate it with the system we are developing in our department. So embedded GUI, RA6 M3 HMI board. So I think embedded system is more of a embedded GUI, is a graphical user interface, is a software interface that is designed to use or for use on an embedded system. So the embedded system itself usually uses a microcontroller or a single board computer, but with GUI, it's actually a way to optimize the use of embedded system. Embedded GUIs provide a graphical interface for interacting with the system and enables user to control and monitor the system through visual elements and interfaces. I think the most common example is the touch screen for the interfacing of embedded system. So some common applications in different fields, such as in consumer electronics, we have the smart TVs, we have the set-top boxes, digital cameras, and for industrial equipment, we have PLC. PLC is widely used in industry-based machinery, and we have HMIs, we have control panels, and for automotive system, we have in-car entertainment, for example, and for medical, the most common is the monitoring equipment and other healthcare devices. Now, what is the RA6 M3 HMI board? So the RA6 M3 HMI board is a high-cost performance graphic evaluation kit that is developed by RT-Thread in collaboration with Renesas and LVGL. So with Renesas high performance, the RA6 M3 chip and the RT-Thread software ecosystem, the HMI board has strong hardware performance and is rich software ecosystem. So this makes the developers to create cutting-edge GUI smart hardware products. Okay. And then this is an LVGL certified board. It also has the following features. I think I might not elaborate it all, but one of its features is having a RAM of 640 KB internal and a flash 2 MB internal. It has touchpad capacitive and color depth 16-bit, display size of 4.3 inch. And of course, it could be integrated into internet with Ethernet and power supply USB type or 5 volts. It also has microphone and speaker and an Arduino expansion interface, 2 PMOD expansion interfaces, 4 buttons, 3 user buttons, and 1 reset button. Okay. RT-Thread Studio and Squareline Studio. So we have the HMI board in where we are going to download our flash download our design GUIs. Now, where we create our design, so this now we have the RT-Thread Studio and the Squareline Studio. So what is an RT-Thread Studio? The RT-Thread Studio is a one-stop development tool. It has a easy-to-use graphical configuration and a wealth of software packages. So one of the advantages of the RT-Thread Studio is that it has a library, a lot of library compatible with different boards. So which make IoT development simple and efficient. It also has the features of project creation and management, code editing, and software development kit management. So it allows integration with graphical libraries such as the LVGL, which is an open source graphics library designed for embedded systems for sophisticated user interfaces. So if you want to learn more about ArtiThread, I have an attached link here so you can access about ArtiThread Studio through this link. So this is how the ArtiThread Studio looks like. And also we have the Squareline Studio. The ArtiThread and the Squareline Studio are different softwares, but later we will be using our the GUI we designed in the Squareline Studio in ArtiThread. So Squareline Studio is a visual drag and drop. So when we use ArtiThread, we are using the base metal for designing GUIs. But for the Squareline Studio, we are doing a visual drag and drop UI editor for embedded system and desktop applications. So it's more of an abstracted version of creating a GUI. It is lightweight. It has customizable widgets such as buttons. It has sliders, text boxes, and graphic design tools. It is also scalable. It has the scalable display sizes and resolutions, and has touchscreen support for touch responsive interfaces. It also can be integrated seamlessly with RTOS like ArtiThread. Now proceeding with the GUI I created. So it's embedded GUI for water level monitoring. So note that this presentation focuses on the GUI. So to create the GUI, I have these components. Of course, the RA6 M3 HMI board, in where we flash download our GUI, embedded GUI. And to do that, we use the USB Type-C cable, a data cable, and then computer or laptop. And of course, we have this software, the ArtiThread Studio and the Squareline Studio. Actually, in creating your GUI, you can also use some software for your design or to explore more graphical element. But we have to take note of the requirements of the board and where we flash download our GUI designs. Okay. So the ArtiThread Studio, first we go to ArtiThread Studio. And for the installation procedure, we have to take note of the system requirements. For example, having a RAM of 4 GB or higher. Now, one good thing of ArtiThread Studio is that it can work in operating systems such as Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. To download and install the ArtiThread Studio, click the provided link. I have the link here and where you can access the download file for the ArtiThread Studio IDE. And just open the downloader.exe file and follow the on-screen instructions. So download and install the ArtiThread Studio IDE and then wait for the installation to complete. Once finished, you can start using the ArtiThread Studio. Now this is how it looks like. When you launch your ArtiThread Studio, you have the SDK manager or the software development kit manager. You have to install the Renesys and the HMI board. And then after the installation, you have to close the SDK manager. We have to navigate to the file tab where you can see the select new. I don't know if I think blur. New and then ArtiThread project, and then choose the base on board and select the HMI board with the type set to examples. You can choose from one of the available examples. Actually, in the Squareline, in the ArtiThread Studio, I think later I will be able to send you the link for the demo. We have a list of demo that you can choose from and to check your HMI board. For example, the HMI board e-bike, HMI board factory, and so on. So proceed to compile and build the project, and then ensure that the build process is completed without issues. And then you have to proceed to the click flash download. But before doing so, you have to make sure that the HMI board using your 5-volt cable is connected in your computer and in the HMI board. And then after that, click the flash download button located between the window and the help tabs. I think later. And use the shortcut Control-Alt-D to upload the project to your HMI board. So after uploading, the GUI will automatically be implemented in your HMI board and you can see it directly. We have also other examples and instructions through the YouTube link provided by the artist thread. Next is the Squareline Studio. So download and install the Squareline Studio. Access the download page for the Squareline Studio on the link provided. Wait lang. Okay, and then open the downloaded installer or the exe file and follow the provided instructions. So if you see the application, that's a .exe file, and then wait for the installation to complete. Once done, you can start using the Squareline Studio. For creating and exporting a new Squareline Studio project, you have to sign up and register a free account, and then launch the Squareline. So this is how it looks like. So you have to log in with your registered account and its credentials. And actually, there are a lot of menus there and a lot of graphical elements available for you to design your GUIs. So upon logging in, you can click the Create button to begin your GUI project. And actually, if you really have specific graphical elements that you want to include in your GUI, you can have another application, for example, Canva or Photoshop, that you might able to use to add elements into your design. But actually, the Squareline Studio has pretty much a lot of elements that can use with. So just take note that we are using the HMI board and it has specific requirements. For example, your design should be 480 by 272 to fit the screen of the HMI display. And then the preferred color depth is 16-bit. Now, in my case, I had tried to complicate my design, and then I am using high quality images, and then it turns out that it's more than 16-bit. So when I uploaded it, when I flash download it to my HMI board, so the screen or the GUI appears to be darker, and then the image is a bit blurred. So you have to follow the requirements for your display. So the preferred color depth is 16-bit, but it's important to ensure all GUI assets maintain the lowest possible quality without compromising the visual appearance. So after completing the design, export your project to your preferred file path on your computer. So in my case, I'm doing a 5-page GUI interface. Note that you can, I think I'm done saying this. You can create GUI assets using other software. So next is integrating and uploading your Squareline Studio project and Artist Thread project onto your HMI board. First is open the folder containing your exported Squareline Studio. So you have to locate that folder. We have saved your GUI design from Squareline Studio, and you have to copy all the files from that folder and paste them into the folder located at Artist Thread project board. So when you create an Artist Thread project from the Artist Thread Studio, this is an automatic folder that will create right after you create new project. So this step is straightforward since the destination folder icon contains only one folder with the following. Replace all the files in that destination. And then compile and build your Artist Thread project by clicking the hammer button. So this is for the building of your project. Once the build is complete, use the flash download feature to upload your Artist Thread project to the HMI board. So take note again, so you have to connect the board into your computer using the 5-volt cable. So this process may take some time. So after that, the GUI will automatically be implemented, and you can see it directly in the HMI screen after successfully uploading the project to the HMI board. So here is my excuse me. So here is my sample GUI. I'm actually making an interface GUI design for water level monitoring, especially that I'm currently dealing with water level monitoring researches. So um, I name it Isidro, and suppose the interfaces is to first give definitions, since I'm using safe AWD water monitoring. So you have option to really give definition on safe AWD, and if you want to proceed for monitoring, you can click on monitoring. And then this is if to be implemented, no? For example, we have a rice box that represents a specific boxes in a rice field, and you want to monitor the water level of those rice boxes. So you can actually use this tool to really monitor and have it on display using the HMI board. So I have here recorded, and actually it's around, I think, 3 months ago. So I'm not sure if I have included all my documentation, but this is all of it, and I think I will showcase it to you. So that's pretty much a demo available on the HMI board. Okay, that's it. I think that's it. I'm sorry for the interruption later a while ago. But if you have questions, feel free to ask. I also have here the representative from Artist Red from the Global Community Operations, Ms. Kathy Lee. So if you have questions relating to Artist Red, I think Ms. Kathy Lee can also answer. You can have your questions on the chat box. Um, let's scroll up. Let's scroll up first. Um, so hi Paul, is this similar to that of the Raspberry Pi or programmable Android display? If open na ako. Okay, so for the Raspberry Pi, it's a microcomputer. So you can actually have a GUI design in your Raspberry Pi, but it's a different thing. In your HMI display, it's particular using specific software. We can design your GUI and then upload it into the board. So I think the similar thing we can compare is the Arduino. It's just that the Arduino is for controlling and the HMI is for interfaces. But actually, we can integrate it because the HMI board has has a can be integrated into microcontrollers. Okay, thank you, Ral. Do we have Other questions? Wait lang, let's scroll up. Thank you, Kathleen. Yeah, actually, we can do that. Actually, the embedded GUI is to optimize the use of embedded systems. So you have your embedded system and you can design with microcontrollers and you can integrate your GUI with HMI. Thank you too. By the way, I'm looking forward to really post my future projects. So here's my account. I'm actually newbie to sharing my projects because most likely I don't do documentation, but I'm looking forward to it in 2024. And for the RT thread, let's learn more about RT thread through the following links. They have really a powerful microcontrollers and GUI, embedded GUI boards. Pretty much, this GUI is actually for embedded designs, and actually in BSA, I think we're using microcontrollers. We could optimize the use of microcontrollers for implementation by adding a GUI. So in that way, we can actually display data. So in my case, I'm using my embedded GUI for monitoring water levels. If you want to do a system that monitors water level, you have your microcontroller, you integrate, you have your sensors, and then for the GUI, you can have the HMI. And I think that's it. Thank you so much for your presence. If you also have questions for my about my project, you can also email me. I think I provided my links earlier. Thank you so much and have a good night. Bye.